came to be drew from them. And in verse 15, it says, therefore, when Jesus perceived that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he departed again to the mountain by himself alone. And it's something that we need to realize that what Jesus is doing in our lives is not the material things in our life, but the spiritual things in our life. And we often look to Jesus and we pray these prayers, I need for my finances or for this or for that, and they're only materialistic. And as we go on in the chapter, we're going to discover that Jesus is constantly saying, look, I am the bread of life. I'm the bread of life. Those who, and Jesus doesn't want us to get the thing for us to be materialistic. And for us who have been former addicts and we know what worshiping a false god is. We know what that is, and we know what it includes, and we know what it leads to. And we go for that instant gratification, that instant satisfaction, and it still leaves us empty. So when Jesus is saying, look, man, you guys follow me because of the bread, you guys only follow me because of what you can get out. My name, give me, my name is Jimmy. Okay, so we're going to pick up in verse 16 and 17. Okay. Now when evening came, his disciples went down to the sea. He got into the boat and got into the boat and went over the sea toward Capernaum. It was already dark, and Jesus had not come with them. You know, this is the second time that Jesus is embarking with them on the Sea of Galilee, and these men are experienced fishermen. Now, they already had one encounter with Jesus when Jesus was in the sea, and he was with them, and Jesus went to go rest. And they say, oh, Master, do you not care that we are perishing? And Jesus says, oh, you are little faith. And then Jesus spoke, and the winds and everything calmed down. This is very important because you already have experienced the same situation with Jesus, but now Jesus is letting you walk. Jesus is letting you go on your own so you can build up your faith. So you can trust him even more. That even though you may feel like he's not there with you, he's there with you. You know, Jesus stayed on the shore and let his disciples, go. But remember what I said yesterday to keep in mind verse what was it? 13. Yeah, to keep in mind verse 13 of this chapter. You know, when Jesus told them to gather up the baskets and make sure that there was none left over, what do you think the baskets went on? They went on the boat. This is very important for you to realize that, because some of you are carrying something for somebody else that Jesus has ordained, so he's going to sustain you on your trip. What God has ordained, God will sustain. Jesus told his disciples, hey, let's go to the other side of Capernaum. And they were carrying the baskets for they were doing they were going to go feed the other side. See, some of you are carrying a precious gift from God. I don't know what it is, but some of you, some people are carrying gifts and for other people. And we have to realize that what we have in our lives, some of us are just holding things for other people. And this is very important, that because Christ sent you on this mission, he's going to keep an eye on you, make sure that what he entrusted you with is going to get to the other side, to get to that destination. Okay, and in this, let's keep verse 18. Okay, then the sea arose because a great wind was blowing. The wind alone was enough. Okay, and let me put it this way: it's bad enough that you're born. Okay, it's bad enough that you're born, and then what happens? Life begins to happen. Life begins to happen, and this is what then the sea arose and a great wind was blowing. You were born, and then life begins to happen. Even though that you know what you know, it's life. And if you know your life well enough and you've been in certain situations in your life, you know that you're going to go through some stuff. You're well known for getting yourself in trouble. And if you don't recognize that, go look in the mirror, man. You're well known because the Sea of Galilee was well known for having these storms just pop out of nowhere. And in your life, if you well know your life, it's going to pop. Storms come out of nowhere. You're just standing there. You're just standing there, and stuff happens to you. Sometimes with what happened, I don't know. That's like the honest answer that you can give. I don't know. I was just right here. And stuff does happen to you. But most of the time, it doesn't happen. I want to say like 90% of the time, we get ourselves in trouble. Because we're making this, we're trying to get somewhere, and we're rowing and we're getting through life, and stuff is hitting us. But there's times when, like this, you're on a mission for Christ, and the storm arose. It wasn't a storm. It was just winds. Let's continue. Okay, and then so when they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near the boat, and they were afraid. In the first storm upon the Sea of Galilee, the disciples were terrified. In the beginning of the second storm, they were more frustrated than afraid. Jesus told them to row across the sea, and they were more frustrated than afraid. How many of you are here and are frustrated where you're at in life? Be honest. You're frustrated because you know you're supposed to be somewhere, but you're having a hard time getting there. Because what you're fighting isn't the world out there. What you're fighting is you. You're fighting yourself. You want to jump the gun and try to get ahead of everything, try to be proactive in your life. And Jesus is still on way back here. He's walking up. And you're running. You're trying to row. You're trying to do all these things in life. And you're getting frustrated because you've already have 8 hours or a month here or 2 months here, 6 months here, a year here, and you still feel like you're in the same place. And Jesus is coming up. Your efforts are not that they're futile. God wants you to work and to establish yourself, but some things you're doing, and you're doing it just to do it because that's what you're doing on the boat for. You're on the boat, you oar. That's what you do. You oar. I guess if that's the word, right? You stroke your oars. What do you call it? Yeah, row. That's the word right there. Thank you, Andrew. You row, oar. But you understood. Yeah. We know what you mean. And you're frustrated because you're using what's there, and you're not looking towards Christ. Okay. I was listening to a guy, and he says, like when Jesus walked on the water with Jesus, when Peter walked on the water with Jesus, he walked all the way up to Jesus. Okay? He walked up all the way up to the water to Jesus. Then he began to sink. He didn't sink while he was going through the thing. He sank. He sank when he got to Jesus. And this is sometimes that we get so focused on everything around us that we lose sight of the victory. These men should have just relaxed a little bit, let the storm pass, and then continue to work. They still had to get to their destination one way or another, but sometimes we overexert ourselves and we get frustrated because we feel like we're not going nowhere. Yesterday I showed a couple of guys a picture of me when I first got here at the ranch. It was exactly 12 days after I got here at the ranch. Did you see it? It was that, and 7 years ago, that man was frustrated. He was not. It's not till I stopped rowing and fighting myself that I let go. But I did not know what 7 years would bring. I did not know. And I was telling you guys that my skill was limited by the knowledge that I knew. But in all retrospect, and my skill now is in the things that I don't know. Because see, what you know is what you know, and that's what's going to be your limitations. That's all you're going to be doing is growing, and you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be frustrated because all you do is be rowing. But what you don't know is that Christ is coming up, and a lot of people stop short of their miracle. They give up on the miracle right before the miracle happens. Okay, see, and on another note, in the book of Mark, Jesus was going to pass them by. Jesus was going to pass them by. And we've read, if you've been here long enough, we have read that Jesus is just walking. Jesus is just walking by. It's our job to notice him as he draws us. Because when Jesus is walking by, it's usually at the time and place in our lives when we are frustrated, when we are lonely, when we are depressed, when we are blind, when we are paralyzed with fear. When we have all this, we're at wit's end. And like that pastor said, when you find the end of yourself, you're going to find the beginning of God. So we're here now, and where are you at now? How many of you are still so frustrated that you think you're gonna die? Because frustration will cause you to do stupid things, to get out of things, and then you're expecting somebody else to fix it. Some of you are so used to rowing and doing things on your own that you forget that there's other people in the boat with you who are also getting frustrated at the same situation. Huh? Then you'll be frustrated by yourself. And who are you going to blame? Who are you going to complain to? The disciples were on the boat. They were all rowing, and they were all getting frustrated. And it happens. I see it. Remember, I was telling you guys, I see all the frustration on y'all's faces. Even though y'all guys are in the same boat, each one is frustrated because they think that they know better already, and they don't know better because you're on the boat. You're in boat, and you don't know better because you've never been this far before, and you get frustrated. You have precious cargo from Jesus Christ. He's telling you to go to the other side, but nobody's asking the question. Be still. Stand still. Sometimes you've got to stop rowing and sit down and think. Not about tomorrow, not about yesterday. Just think for the moment, man. And this is it. When you start to do that, when you start to stop and just breathe, stop and smell the roses and enjoy life, you're going to find out that what you are being frustrated with is nothing. How many storms have you been in through life? I mean, physical storms in life. The rain, the thunder, the lightning. You've gone through a bunch of them, and you lived through them. And if you stop and just breathe, that storm will soon pass over. And if you stop and you can look around, you can see Jesus. But we don't. We're frustrated. We're roaring, getting nowhere, cussing somebody out. Come on, pull your weight. Do your stuff here. Or the employee, the employee's talking out of turn, or like this, or somebody's doing something. Everybody's pointing at something, but nobody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everywhere you go in life, and you're getting frustrated over yourself. People are not going to do what you want them to do. True. I'm not lying. It is. If I was to pay y'all guys, and if y'all's livelihood was depending on what I told y'all guys to do, y'all guys would be Ethiopians. I just draw a little fly on your eye, man. Because none of y'all guys do what y'all guys well, I'm doing this. I'm being proactive because this is my house. This is like this. You are a guest here, just like I am. I'm a guest. And if I don't do what I'm supposed to be doing, then I don't eat. So you have to look and evaluate where you're at in life. Why are you getting frustrated? Not one of them people said, not one of the disciples says, man, hey, Jesus told us to put this basket on here. There's a reason why he told us to put this basket on. Think about it. There's a reason why God tells you to do certain things. When you're so frustrated in trying to do the good work that you forget about the message that you're supposed to carry. Okay, so let's see, keep going. Through all this, they see Jesus coming, and through their frustration, they're not expecting Jesus to help them. Why should Jesus help us? Why should Jesus help me? I've been here. I've been done this. I've been in the program 3-4 times. I've been to 15 rehabs. Why is Jesus going to help me now? Why shouldn't he help you? He gave you something. You're his. Why shouldn't he help you? But the thing is that they weren't expecting Jesus to help them. They were scared. They were frustrated, and here comes Jesus, and Jesus just says, don't be afraid, it is I. It is I. It is I. Okay? In verse 20 he said, but he said to them, it is I, do not be afraid. Jesus knew enough not to say too much.
They're probably expecting a scolding.
Yeah.
Because of the last time.
Yeah.
That's why they're afraid. Oh man, he's going
to. Yeah. Yeah.
Walking. Oh.
Yeah. Discipline, yeah. But they're expecting this is it. Hey, Jesus said, hey, it is I, do not be afraid. Because they're expecting it. They're expecting a chastisement. Man, what happened last time? Did you not learn? Did you not learn? Did you not learn? See, this is something that like Paul says, shall we continue to sin? Certainly not, so that grace may abound. That could easily come into play. But the thing is sometimes we forget who we're with. And we take them for granted. We take people for granted and we forget what they've done for us and what we've been through. And when Jesus knew enough to say, hey, look, man, it is I, do not be afraid. And they were expecting him to get scolded and to get chastised. I said, man, okay. But something else happens here, okay? In the very next verse, in verse 21, it says, then they willingly received him into the boat. They willingly received him into the boat. They were grateful for him walking up. They were willingly, come on, get inside the boat, man, because, man, you see us. We're struggling here, Jesus. I'm struggling here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm rowing, and I'm going, I'm doing what you're asking me to do, and I'm frustrated. I can't move. We're all frustrated. All 11 of us, man. We're all frustrated. Frustration, it's also real easily passed because we have a mob mentality. If somebody starts complaining, I can't believe Jesus made me roll this way. I can't believe it. I don't know why we're taking these baskets over there to the other people. Ain't there bread on that other side? And there goes the next one complaining. I sure wish he'd shut up and stop complaining about complaining. You shut up and roll. And it's contagious. So when Jesus came in, they saw Jesus, and Jesus says, it is I, do not be afraid. Caused me to think, I think one of these disciples was going to get out of character. One of these disciples was going to get mad. I mean, really, really lose it. I know it happens. Do not be afraid, man. Look, because people take the word of God so serious that they forget who's in charge. We forget who's in charge. We forget who's in charge. You take this life so seriously that you forget who's in charge. Who's in charge of life? And you're frustrated because you keep going, and you're getting nowhere. You know, here it is. Like, you know, you've already been here at the program for 3 months, and you feel like you've gained no ground. You've been here 6 months. You've been here a year, 2 years. I've been here 7 years, and sometimes I feel like I haven't gained ground in some areas of my life. I get frustrated. And then I pull myself out of the situation. Pull myself out of the situation because it's not this. It's me who's supposed to dictate my situation, not the situation dictate me. When I start to get frustrated with people, I just have to remove them from my life. Because it doesn't matter how much I talk to people, and they don't want to get it, they don't want to get it. Some people are closed-minded following Jesus. And they don't even see everything else that they're just so focused on that. And don't get me wrong, follow Jesus, but Jesus wants you to, hey, look, man, I have you with this. This is your job for today. But we're not asking Jesus. We're not inviting Jesus to be with us in our lives. So we get frustrated. You find yourself getting frustrated. Where's Jesus at? Is he about to pass you by? Because you're so all in your feelings. One of the things that I've learned is that people get frustrated because they're unprepared. Even though these men were experienced fishermen, they were unprepared for this particular storm. And it was just wind. But what the wind did is that it raised the water. It caused waves. And even though you're experienced, you've been through storms, right? Yeah. You've been through all kinds of stuff. You're not ready for this particular type of storm. You've never seen this storm in your life, even though you've been through storms. And this storm frustrates you. You've survived other storms, but this one particular storm frustrates you. Why? Because you feel like it's all on you, and it's not, and that's what it is. It's not. If all these men who are on the boat will work together and row, find the rhythm of the waves, they would be getting somewhere. But they didn't. They were clashing. They were in a tug of war, pulling in all different directions. Fear creeps in when you're frustrated. What am I going to do now? What's going to happen? Doubt. I don't know what I'm doing here. Frustration takes on many different forms. Frustration takes on different forms and causes different things. One could say that Jesus rescued his disciples from frustration and futility. Jesus wants us to work hard, but he never wants us to work in futility. Their work had not been a waste, but it waited for the touch of divine power and presence. See, like what you're doing is not useless, it's not pointless, you're not waiting there, you're not there long enough for God to touch it. You're not being still long enough for God to touch you. For God to bless you and the thing like that. And we often say, well, if it's God's will, it's God. Man, stop, man, stop. People get that miss. God's will is that you believe His Son and you trust His Son. So if you come to this rehab, this is a faith-based rehab, okay? And in here, it's not about me, it's about Jesus. That you trust Jesus can do the work in you. All I'm here for is to equip you and to instruct you and to guide you. Okay? My title as director or pastor have little effect compared to the Word of God. Okay? What I'm here is just to equip you, to guide you, and to strengthen you in areas that you have fallen short of, and that I know because I've been through. Okay? But if you're not there long enough, if your mind is, if you haven't even completed a certain thought, and you're already on another thought, don't be surprised, man. If God's sending you over here to start your journey and you want to start over here as a CEO, it ain't going to work, man. It ain't going to work because you're meant to start over here. You'll eventually wind up over here, but if you never start over here, scrubbing toilets or mowing the lawn or going out there, if you don't start off being humble, when you get to the position of CEO, you'll never appreciate this job. You'll take this job for granted. And there's a lot of Christians who get frustrated because they inherit things from other people and they don't know how to handle it. Okay. Verses 22 to 24. On the following day, when the people who were standing on the other side of the sea that saw that there was no other boat there except that one which his disciples had entered, and that Jesus had now entered the boat with his disciples, but his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias, near the place where they ate bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into boats and came to Capernaum, seeking Jesus. On the following day, the next day, they were hungry. You've heard me say, man, that you eating is a bad. That's how you want to get up and just eat. I'm gonna put this in another perspective. Okay, there's a bunch of gamers out there. When they go to bed, they go to bed gaming. They get up gaming. And I say this because I watch videos because my son Dre said he watches these videos, and I'm not looking at the gamer, I'm looking at his surroundings. Candy Coke, Cheetos, hot Cheetos, junk food, something like that. They have junk food around them. And that's sustaining their life right there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging them. That's how they. But I see what's making. I'm going somewhere with this. I see what's sustaining their life is their focus is on that game, and what they're bringing in because of the game is just junk food, man. You know, I have yet to see one that has a plate of beans and rice. Just saying. I'm just saying. Look at them. Pay attention. It's just me, you know. I'm not picking on them, but I'm saying this to say this: that what you're focusing on, whatever your God is right now, look at what it's feeding you. Look at what it's feeding you. Okay, look what your God is feeding you while He has you be still and know that I am God. Look what He's feeding you. To the alcoholic who would go to the bar, he would be feeding pickled eggs, pistachios, salted peanuts. No? Pretzels, pork grinds.
Maybe a microwave pizza if it's good enough.
To the one that will go to the trap house. Oh, you get ramen noodles. Raw.
Bro,
Shake it in there, crash it up, let's go. Look at what your God is feeding you, man. So these people they go the next day because they're hungry because they got oh man this food did something for me. Yeah, because you were hungry, it satisfied your hunger. That's all it did. But we often look to Jesus that we want this miracle healing king. That's what this miracle healer right here, this king that's going to come and do all these things for us at our beck and call. That's why they're following Jesus, because you want Jesus, you want to rub that bottle. Come on, Jesus, give me my 3 wishes for today. I need what I want. Give me. My name is Jimmy. I made a mistake when I prayed to Jesus. I said, Jesus, make me good looking. I should have. That was a bad mistake. I should have prayed, make me rich. Then I would have been good looking to everybody. just played, man. And he can't stop me. Life is good, man.
You gotta tell him.
Huh?
You gotta tell him.
10.
10. Number 10.
Oh yeah. You guys ever heard? Oh yeah. You guys want to hear 10?
yeah.
Oh Lord. Well, anyway, there was this businessman, the CEO. He kept walking by a mental institution, and every day you would hear the mentally challenged. They would be yelling 9, 9, 9, 9, and I'll be and I wonder what they're talking about. Days passed. So one day, he was walking by the fence and he sees a little knot hole that been cut out, and so he stops and he looks in the knot hole, and somebody pokes his eye. Boom! 10. The moral of the story is that you should be looking at certain things in life, man. Certain things don't pertain to you. Keep walking, minding your own business. No biblical principle, man. Verses 25 and 27. Okay, and when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, okay, let me back up a little bit right here. Okay, and what's coming up next, Jesus is about to answer some questions and some requests that people now have. If you pay attention to the world back then and the world right now, Jesus is about to respond to some questions and to some requests that are going to be made of him. And it's very important to understand this, because we ask these same questions, just in a different form or fashion. We ask Jesus these same questions, and we make these same requests of him. Okay, verse 25. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? Where you been, Jesus? Jesus answered and said to them, most assuredly I say to you, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. If Jesus would have answered that question, if we asked Jesus that question, Rabbi, when did you get here? Jesus, when did you get here? I've been here. Where have you been? But if Jesus would have answered that question with the events that just happened, you wouldn't believe it. Jesus, how did you get here? Well, I was on the other side. I saw my disciples. I saw them rowing. They were rowing for about a good 8 hours. And they got a mile out in the thing. And then so all of a sudden, I walked on water, got in their boat, and then the boat is right here now. You won't believe that. So Jesus kind of changes it on them, and he says, and he tells them, look, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. That's you're following me for temporary satisfaction. And there's a lot of people who go to church for the temporary satisfaction of the prosperity gospel, the feel-good gospel, the sugar gospel, and people aren't even noticing that they're being eaten from the inside out. And they're frustrated because their life is still in the same place. And Jesus is walking by. Okay, Jesus told them that they came because they wanted more food miraculously provided by Jesus. You want Jesus to show up and do these things in your life, and you want him to do a miracle. But if you read the Gospels, usually when God intervenes and does a miracle, is when you run out. Pay attention. Verse 6:13, there was no need for food because there was already food on this other side. See, Jesus already pre-planned it. He already door-dashed some food over to the other side with his disciples. That's why it's important that when you come to Jesus, because people, we're going to eat this again? Didn't you just serve this yesterday? We have leftovers? The bread was already on the other side, and they were expecting Jesus to do another, raise the hand and bless the food and stuff like that. The food's already there. See, you have to understand that when God sends you somewhere, it's already been prepared for you. You just got to step into it and ask for it. Hey, where's my plate at? And be grateful for what's being served. Oh, no, I don't like it. Then don't eat. It's simple. People follow Jesus for many reasons, and most of them reasons are probably wrong. If go ahead. Selfishness is one of the main reasons by people, because and I'm just going to say, look, man, there's a lot of people who follow Jesus just for the 911 call. They wanted the bread, but more than just the bread, they also wanted the display of the miraculous and miracle king, and a miracle king to lead them against the oppressors, the Roman oppressors. They wanted somebody who can wave a wand and say, be gone. They wanted the bread, but more than just the bread, they also wanted the display of the miraculous and miracle king to lead them against the Roman oppressors. Now, I've been to many men's conferences, and I've seen a lot of TV, and I've watched a lot of evangelists, and I've seen like that. And most of the time, people who go there and they go, and I'm not saying healing doesn't take place. I've done seen some stuff in my life. I'm not saying God is not going to work a miracle. But people are expecting people to fall down, pass out, being slayed in the spirit when they go every time to a conference. And that puts the pastor under a lot of things, a lot of pressure. Don't ask me to lay hands on you, because I won't. I'll pray with you and do all this stuff like that, but hey, pastor, can you lay hands to heal me? I say, man, no. No. Why not? First of all, I don't want you to get the misconception that I can do that. Because I can't, but I know Jesus can. You see, it doesn't do me no good for me to have the faith and you don't have the faith. Because I'm not the one that wants to be healed. You need to be healed. So your faith needs to be right there with Jesus Christ. So when these people were looking for the miracles, the miraculous signs, all these stuff like that, their faith wasn't in Jesus. Their faith was in the problem that they wanted resolved. Jesus, I want you to fix this problem. Jesus, I have faith that you'll fix this problem. And this problem is still there. And you're telling Jesus, hey, I'm believing you, Jesus, that you fix this problem. Where's your faith at? You're saying that you're believing Jesus for these certain things in your life. Where's your faith at? He help you out. You shouldn't be having to ask Jesus for certain stuff. If you have a relationship with Jesus, Jesus is already going to be provided because your faith is already demonstrated along the way as you're walking, as you're rowing, even through your frustration, that your faith is still in him and he's right there to provide. You shouldn't be asking Jesus for certain stuff, man. Yeah. Because your faith should be in him from the get-go. Okay. When he says, look, do not labor for food which perishes, but for the food which endures everlasting life. Okay, how long does it take for you to be hungry again? Anybody? I know Brandon every 30 seconds. Couple hours. 2, 3 hours and you get hungry again. How about your spiritual hunger?
Always want orders. Should be.
In all reality, we're always hungry because we're never satisfied. If you find yourself not being satisfied in life, then you're being fed, you're feeding yourself junk food.
So Pastor Richard was saying, like, pick up our daily bread, right? But when we want to pick up our daily bread, we get just like a little crumb. You know, when God's trying to give us the whole loaf, right?
Yeah. So you're not satisfied. You're only satisfied. You'll go on Facebook.
Dude, you just said that yesterday to us.
Who? When?
You said you know how we do the communion, you only get a little bit.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. God works like that.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
You get on Facebook and all of a sudden you see God gives the strongest battle to his strongest warriors. Hell no. God gives each one accordingly, man. To his plan, to his word, man. It may seem tough for you because you're frustrated, man. You're frustrated because you're only eating junk food, man. You're only eating junk food and you have no sustenance, man. You have no beans and rice from Jesus Christ, man. You have nothing that sticks to you. You have nothing that sticks to you. You have nothing. You have no leg to stand on, no foundation to walk upon. And you're getting frustrated because you're slipping and sliding all over the place. And you say, well, Jesus, I believe you, Jesus. Do you? So it's important for you to understand that Jesus is not saying about the bread of life. Because he's saying, look, those who take me in, I will be in, and they're going to be with me. Just like they willfully took him into the boat, and then miraculously they got to the other side. Isn't it funny? And this is just me. I don't know if it's happened to you, but I'm pretty sure it has. Have you ever gone to church and you were going through something, and all of a sudden the pastor starts to talk on the subject that you're going through? And all of a sudden your whole mind begins to settle. And okay. And all of a sudden it's in clear focus where you're supposed to be at. That's what happened to the disciples on the boat. Well, gotta stop it here. Jesse, pray us out.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this morning, Father God. Thanks for waking us up this another day, Father. I pray that today is a good day for us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.